already, then we'll go ahead and get started. Might have a few more latecomers. Maybe I should wait another minute. All right, so thanks for coming to this session today. We will be talking about Google Plus and Hangouts and how you can use them to communicate with international students. Hopefully you already know that you're here in this session. But I'm Brianna Davis. I'm with Envisage International. If you're wondering what that is and why in the program is said International Student Insurance and what the tie is there, essentially we help schools who are looking to broaden their international student population, as well as students who are searching for schools. We sort of are the connection for the two. International Student Insurance is one of our brands, so we provide international student insurance to students coming inbound and outbound. It's just one of the many things we do. We also have international student loans. We kind of have a lot of resources that we offer to students. So that's why you see that in there under International Student Insurance. But today, the reason we really got involved with these Hangouts and Google Plus is we use internationalstudent.com. That's our primary resource to reach international students. And we're completely online, which means we do a lot of online marketing, which means we do a ton of content generation. We are always trying to find new ways to try to reach students, to get that content out there, constantly creating new content. So these Hangouts have really been sort of a new way that we can do that. We're speaking to students in a way that they want to listen. I mean, how many of you have students who would much rather watch a video as opposed to read a long PDF? Yeah, a lot of you. So that's what we're kind of trying to do, is reach to them in a way that they want to be reached to. So here we have, this is the Envisage International Google Plus page. Now this is not, once again, it's not how we reach international students. This is primarily how we speak to you guys. We'll show you a little bit of how we speak to students as well. So this is our international student Google Plus page. As you can see, it's a little bit different. We have information on scholarships. We have ESL in Chicago. Here's one of our we have just a lot going on here. So this is one of the ways that we do communicate with international students. Now, this isn't to replace Facebook or Twitter. We still, of course, use those. But you know, getting into Google Plus is just really another platform in order to reach them, especially now that we're able to do the Hangouts. That's helped significantly in widening our reach on who we can reach with Google Plus. So today, just to give you a little bit of what's actually going on, is we do have a live Hangout going on. So back in Jacksonville, Florida, we have our Director of Technology. He's helping me to sort of drive the live Hangout portion. So individuals who are watching remotely, they're able to, you know, they're able to hear me, they're able to see what he's doing. He has a screen share. It's exactly what I'm going to be showing you guys today. So if you've never participated in a live Hangout before, you can now say that you have. And just to kind of see where you guys are at, who has a personal Google Plus account that they use? That you actively use? That's the trick there. What about with your school? Do you guys have a Google Plus account with your schools that you use? Yes, a few of you. Have you guys done Hangouts for your school? Yeah? That's a half praise. No. Yep. Really? Yeah. 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 That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. We actually, that's part of why we love Hangouts, is because, I mean, we have students from all over. There are 2 countries that cannot use it. It's China and there's one other one. If you're interested, I'll get back to you on that one. But, I mean, really, we've never had any students say they're not able to do it, it's usually pretty straightforward. So that's interesting to hear that that's an obstacle for you. It's really interesting. Maybe we can talk afterwards and try to brainstorm on what we can do to help you with that. All right, so as I mentioned, this is our International Student Google Plus page. And before we really dive into Hangouts or anything else, I want to give you a bit of background. Some of you don't really know what Google Plus is, so we're going to go over that first. Essentially, Google Plus is the social platform that Google's created. So just like you have Facebook, you have Twitter, this is another platform, another means to communicate with students. As I mentioned, it's not something that we substitute for. It's just something that we do to help another avenue of reaching to them. And it's pretty simple to create a Google Plus account. If you go in and create a Gmail account, you'll automatically be able to have a Google Plus account. It used to be automatic. Now you have to say, yes, I would like a Google Plus account, which in the beginning, anytime you would sign up for an email account, it would automatically sign you up. So Google Plus was like, yeah, we have 500 million users. It's so great. It's growing. It's through the roof. But whenever you actually look at those numbers, there's about 300 million active users. As you can see, a lot of you have it, but you're not quite active. And it's because whenever you used to create that email account, you'd automatically get that Google Plus account. Now you still have the option, so it's still really easy to create one. But it's pretty cool, too, because it's integrated with Google. It allows you to work with all of the Google tools. So, for example, if you were to get your Google Plus account, you were to attend a Hangout, so you'd RSVP, yes, I want to attend your Hangout. That would automatically be synced in with your Google Calendar, so you'd get an alert. And then they would also send you an alert through email. So it's very much tied in. If you were to host a Hangout, then it's going to automatically go up to YouTube after your Hangout's done. Giving you a few steps, a little bit of work, since it's all tied in with Google, and they're all really great ways to make it more simple. You'll have when it's tied in with your Google Plus. So for example, here you can see you have your Google Plus account, and then right there it's automatically integrated through YouTube. You guys see okay over there? Okay. All right, so if you are going to start using Hangouts, what I highly recommend first, if you're very active on Google Plus, if you're not, a great way to sort of start, along with doing general posts, is going to be through circles. So does anyone in here who is active on Google Plus use circles? You do. Okay, great. If you're going to put the time in on Google Plus and on Hangouts, this is really how you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So you're doing a lot of work to create these awesome Hangouts. You're getting a lot of traction, hopefully. But really, what are you going to do beyond that Hangout? And whenever you create these circles, which you can see here, we have a few here. Most of them are based around our Hangouts. So like this one, I just did a Hangout on the secrets to getting your F1 visa approved. We have some of our featured school Hangouts here, our SUNY Hangout. So after we have a Hangout, you're able to see everyone who RSVP'd that, yes, they're going to attend. So we took everyone who attended, who said, yes, I'm going to attend, and we added them to these circles, which it's really, really simple to create a circle. Actually, I'll show you guys right now. So right here, all you essentially need to do, click the plus, type in whatever kind of circle you want to do. As you can see, we typed in the name of the Hangout that we had, create empty circle. So then whenever you go back to everyone who RSVP'd and said, yes, I'm going to attend this Hangout, then you'll be able to just scroll over their name, and it'll ask you which circle you want to put them in. And then you can just click the circle of the Hangout that they attended. They'll automatically be in there. So it does more than just organize who goes where. Essentially what you can do afterwards is it's another way that you can communicate to these students, but give them the right kind of message that they should be getting. So you guys at your schools, more than likely, you're going to be communicating with students in all different areas of the funnel. You'll be having students who are prospective students. You'll be having students who might be enrolled but not yet on campus. And then you might have students who are enrolled and already on campus. So this is a really good tool. It's a good way to get you thinking of what kind of circles can I put each of my students in? What kind of message do I want to give to them? And that's how you can categorize your circles. So if you have a circle for the prospective students, you're not going to be sending them the same message as the students that you'll be sending messages to the ones who are on campus. And you're not going to be sending the ones who are on campus, the ones who still need to get over to your campus but are enrolled. Prospective students don't really care that XYZ document is due on XYZ day. And it's really just kind of murking the waters for the students that you're trying to get interested in your university or the students who are already here. So having these circles, it really lets you know, okay, this group of students, this is the message that I need to send to them. This group of students, this is the message that I need to send to them. Something else pretty cool about these, so after you have your Hangout, what you're able to do is you can send them targeted message. So say we want to send a message to that test group. We'll pretend like we're going to send it to our secrets Hangout. Okay, so say we wanted to send a message to everyone who attended our Secrets to Getting an F1 Visa Hangout. We had a lot of students who were like, hey, I can't attend, can you send me this link? I'll go ahead and just RSVP yes, that way you can add me to the circle. So what we did later was we went ahead and we sent them all the link, everyone who attended, anyone who said that they wanted the link. But the cool thing is if you see this option here, you can also send them an email. So not only are you sending them the post through Google+, but you can also send them an email. So it's sort of doing double duty. Now, two limitations, though, that I have found with these circles with using them is you can only add a certain number of individuals per day. So like this Hangout, it was killer. We had a ton of individuals who RSVP'd, but I could only add about 250 per day. The other problem was that you don't have this email option if you're over a certain number of students. So those are two of the limitations that I found, but on those maybe do two separate circles, F1 secret Hangout group 1, F1 secret Hangout group 2. And there's always ways you can find around that. Plus Google+, they're constantly updating and changing things, so that might be a limitation that is quickly gone, hopefully. All right, so next on our list. All right, let's go ahead, let's dive into the Hangouts. Do we have any questions so far? I know this is kind of a lot of info. No? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, right. And see, that's one of the things is Google+, it's not as active as our Facebook. It's not as active as Twitter. But having these Hangouts, it's one way that we have, like, if you look at our stats, they kind of like this, and then whenever we have a Hangout, it's like, whoop. And it's a variety of students. So we have, if we'll go check out individuals who attend, we'll go check out their pages on Google+. And you'll see a wide variety. You'll see some individuals who have made maybe one post in the past, and then you'll see individuals who are pretty active on there. It really is a variety. We get a variety. I think part of that, too, is we're not just sharing these Hangouts through Google+. So we're using other ways to try to reach them. So it's not just necessarily like, oh, well, you can only reach the students who use Google+ already. You'll want to keep in mind that you'll want to cross-promote it. So try to pull in those students who are active on Facebook. Try to pull in the students who are active on Twitter. And try to get them over and let them know this is a really cool way that we can interact with you face-to-face and give you the info that you need. Okay. So I'm sure all of you are more than intelligent enough to create a Hangout yourself, but I just want to walk you through here in case you have any questions on the process, and just to give you a few tips as well as we go along. So from your main Google Plus page, have on the left-hand side this sort of toolbar. So if you were to click on the Hangouts button, then this is the page that you would have come up. All you need to do is click Start Hangout on Air, and this is what you'll see. So the very first option, you'll want to give it a name. Whenever you give it a name, you'll want to make sure that you do a few things. You want to make sure that it's a simple name, first of all. You want to make sure that it's very descriptive. It's fun to make it clever, but if they don't really know what it's about, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get them to actually want to attend. And then third, you want to make it searchable. Keep in mind that Google Hangouts, whenever you do an on-air hangout afterwards, it's going to automatically go to YouTube. So it's not just a one-time, you have it for, however long you do it on air, maybe, 30 minutes, an hour, however long you make it. It's going to be a living piece of content that you can reuse, and people can find you whenever they search on YouTube. So you want to make sure that it's very searchable. It's a great tool if you're trying to get students to find you via YouTube, if you're trying to use it as a recruiting tool. All right, tell people what it's all about. So obviously here you want to put the description. While we're talking about descriptions, as I mentioned before, it's going to automatically go to YouTube afterwards. Whenever it's on YouTube, you have a little area that you can put the description as well. What you'll want to make sure that you also are doing is that you have a link after that description. That way you're kind of giving students a call to action. So yeah, it's great that they're attending that hangout, they're getting that information. Perhaps it's a hangout on ways to battle culture shock. So what do you want the student to do after they watch this video and get information on culture shock? If it's one of your students, more than likely what you want them to do is find a resource to get help. So you'll want to put a link in there to the counseling center or whoever it is you have on campus that's able to help them with battling culture shock. Now if you're trying to use it as more of a recruitment tool, exact same thing. Make sure that you put the link on there. They can go to your school website. Maybe you have a contact form, something like that. But make sure that you're taking it to the next step. You don't want them to just watch this great hangout that you spent so much time creating and then just fall off the map. All right, so when does it start? You can either do now or later. Really, you're going to want to do later unless you have a certain group who you've already established, okay, let's do this on-air hangout together. Really, you're going to want to choose the later option. That way you can market it so that you can get a lot of students to attend. Like I said before, you'll want to be able to put it on your other social outlets. We do email marketing. We'll put it on our blog. We put it in our newsletter. I mean, we market it for, I'd say, 5 days in advance typically, and that way we can get really good attendance. So schedule it for in the future. That way you can really get your marketing out there. And then last on here, you have who do you want it to go to. So you can make it public. You can have anyone able to attend. Or maybe you're trying to recruit students in Spain. You've already kind of had some interaction with students in Spain. And so you really want to do a hangout to those students in Spain. Now, hopefully you have already created your really cool circle with all of your international students in Spain. So instead of doing public, you could just do whatever you've named your circle for international students in Spain. All right, so as I kind of touched on before, we do a lot of marketing for international student hangouts. We do a lot of pre-marketing, so we do the emails, we put it in our newsletter, we have social, I mean, we do a lot. We also do a lot of post-marketing as well. So, like I said, it's not just a short video that you have for the time being for whoever's watching it. It's also, you should be able to create it with the mindset that this is going to be a really great piece of content that students in the future will be able to see benefit from as well. So what we do in order for post-marketing, in order to get the most out of these Hangouts, is we put it in our blog. So we'll create this Hangout, and then we blog about it. So one of my recent ones was how to choose a major as an international student. So I actually, so long I turned it into a two-part series. We have our next one that will be coming out shortly. But find ways to really to use that resource and get it out to your students beyond just that Hangout. We also have on international student, we have the home here for all of our Hangouts. So as you can see, we have secrets to getting your F1 visa approved, the dirt on picking your major, Hangout with Mississippi State University, SUNY Brockport, the list goes on here. So we find other ways to keep this content living and to get it out to students. So you might be wondering, well, I don't really just put anything on our school website. I don't think they'd want me to be doing that. But keep in mind, even if you just have that YouTube link to send out to your students, I'm sure you guys have a lot of the same questions that students come to you with. So what you can do, if you're thinking about a topic that you could do a Hangout on, what you can do is, first of all, think of those maybe top 3 topics that students always come to, the top 3 questions. That would be a good place to start where to do your Hangouts. That'd be a very good beginning for you. Whether you do, you have your top 3 questions and you do 3 different Hangouts, whether you make it 1 if they're similar topics, that's a really good place to start. And then whenever you have all those students coming to you with those same exact questions, perhaps it's through email or however, you can, here's the short answer, here's the video, it's going to give you a lot of information. So that's really a great place to start if you're trying to brainstorm on what kinds of Hangouts you can do. They really vary. They really vary. We have some that are about 15 minutes long, and then we open the floor for Q&A. And the Q&A can make it last an hour sometimes, depending on the attendance and how actively they're asking questions. Yes. Yeah. Yep, it sure would. Yeah. Really, we don't do PowerPoints, and that's kind of why I did this a little bit different. Is we don't really use PowerPoints. It's more like a live, like this is the information. What we do have though is we have some software that allows us, instead of PowerPoint, it sort of shows them like what a PowerPoint would be doing, and you can put pictures on there, you can put graphics, you can put whatever. But you could do, if you wanted to do a PowerPoint, then it is completely capable of doing it. It has a screen share feature. So if you wanted to create a PowerPoint beforehand, yes, that would be great. I mean, whatever you want to do to supplement what you're doing, you most definitely can because it has a screen share option, and it's very simple. It's really easy. And that actually, your question just reminded me. So there's another cool feature on there. Whenever you're doing a live Hangout, there's a Q&A feature that you can turn on. So you can actually turn it on before the Hangout starts, and then students can go into that Hangout, they can ask you the questions, and then during the Hangout, you can actually answer their questions. You can click the select, so you'll have all of these questions on the right-hand side. You can select which one you want to answer, which one you are answering it, which one you are answering, and it'll go all the way up to the top. So everyone watching will know you're answering that question. Additionally, whenever students come back and they watch that video later on, say they're searching through all those questions on the right-hand side as they're watching, and they're like, oh, that's the question that I have. That's what I need the answer to. They can click on that one, and it's going to take them right in the video where that question was answered. So your student's able to get information like that without even watching the whole video. So you'll want to make sure that you utilize that Q&A. It's very simple. It's literally, it says Q&A. All you have to do is click it. It'll be on. It's very simple. Okay. So primarily, as you guys can see from here, we have 2 different types of Hangouts that we do. The first one, it's purely informative. We give them information on topics like using your contacts to get a job, how to find an international scholarship, finding a U.S. school you can afford, how to pick your major, things like that. The second one, we work with our partnered schools, our featured schools, such as Mississippi State University. And students who want to learn more about schools, who are trying to find a school in the U.S., this is really great for them because it gives them an inside look at these institutions. Plus, it gives these schools a lot of warm inquiries. So, Mississippi State University, this is their featured school page on International Student. So we have every school in the U.S. in our USA school search there. But they don't all look like this. This is our featured school. As you can see, there's a ton of information here on MSU. There's videos, there's photos, and It pulls in their Facebook and Twitter feeds. And then students who are interested in this school, so maybe somebody watched the Mississippi State University Hangout from our YouTube page. They saw, oh, this is the link that I need to go to learn more about Mississippi State University. Click the link. This is what they come to. They want to learn even more, so then they'd fill out this contact form. Their information would go straight over to Mississippi State University, who could then contact that student. So this is one of the ways that we utilize Hangouts, is to help some of our featured schools like this. All right, so just to kind of give you an idea of what a Hangout actually looks like, I'm going to go ahead and pull up. This is sort of a little short snippet, about an hour. This is going to show you this sort of some excerpts.
Hi everybody, and thanks for joining us today for our International Student Hangout series, where we bring international students together with quality U.S. colleges and universities to promote higher education. Today we're going to be joined by Karen Lee, the Director of International Relations at Mississippi State University. We'll also be joined by Nandita Gupta, an international student at Mississippi State University from India. Karen will be introducing Mississippi State University, and Nandita will tell you a little bit more about her experience there and why it's a great place for international students.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Karen Lee, and I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit about Mississippi State University. But really, before I do that, I really want to introduce Nandita Gupta. She's one of our international students and will be joining us today. Nandita, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
I'm like Victoria said earlier, that I'm from India. I'm from a town called Pune in Maharashtra, and I'm studying electrical engineering at State.
Whoa, electrical engineering.
Okay.
Tell you a little bit about Mississippi first, because you know what? Mississippi is much more than a river. The first thing I learned about Mississippi was, yep, it's a river, but yeah,
there's so much more to it.
Yeah, it's a state too, right? Because we're in it.
Yeah.
But seriously, Mississippi offers so much. Did you guys know that some of the most famous writers are from Mississippi? Mm-hmm. For example, who do we have?
We've got John Grisham, he was a really famous alumni from Mississippi State, and they have an entire big room dedicated to him.
That's right, in the library. I forgot about that. It's called the John Grisham Room. Mm-hmm. But what's important to you is we offer some of the majors that are important to you. We have over 80 of them. And the one thing that I really want you to take away from this Google Hangout is that Mississippi State offers you the exact same scholarship opportunities as we do to our American students. So if you have a decent, at least 3.0 GPA, and you do pretty good in the SAT or ACT, you have a really good chance to get a reduced rate to come to Mississippi State to study, and that's a great thing for you. This picture?
This is during the Holi Celebration last year. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my friends who will be watching this Hangout.
What Holi?
Holi is the festival of colors that comes around March.
And what country is that from?
It's from India. We played in India.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of fun. Like we got permission to play with colors, mm-hmm. and so it was a dry Holi, so no mixing the colors with water, because it would make a really huge international population. And when you can think of a lot of international students, that means a lot of culture, a lot of awesome food, and a lot of interaction.
Food is great.
Food is great. So this, I think, was taken at a Nepali night organized by the Nepali Student Association.
Mm-hmm. International Fiesta. Yeah. Every spring we have a huge festival right here on campus, and this is, I think, when all of the International Student Association kind of showcase everything.
Yeah.
And I think you can basically eat your way from one end of the world to the other.
It's really amazing. And I think a lot of them even hand out free food. So
that's right.
It's a way for you to learn more about, your culture and even others.
Mm-hmm.
This, I think, was at the Iranian night.
I think, we're looking at a picture of the Iranian New Year's.
So you're not, even though you're not from here, this place has become a home for you. So like I call it my home away from home. So it's, you know, when anyone asks me, like if I've visited other states in the country and I go there, talk to different people and they ask me, hey, where are you from? And it's so instinctive that you say, oh, I'm from Mississippi. And you're actually, I am from India. But even though this is like home for me now. And a lot of international students feel the same way. Like, I think this guy right here is dressed.
Yeah, that's Iago from Brazil. We're ready to answer some questions now. So if you want to submit your questions, we're ready for you. There you go. What is the minimum TOEFL score for undergraduate admission? Hi, I'm a student from Morocco, and I'm wondering if there are any art classes in our college.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we do have.
My best friend is majoring in art.
Now, we're going to go move on to the next question. This is from Kush, and he wants to know the GMAT is required, or she, I'm sorry, required as mentioned on your website, but is it compulsory? Well, actually, you know, required means compulsory, so yes. If it says that you have to have a GMAT, then you have to have a GMAT.
So I hope we helped, and please contact Karen with any more questions that you'll have. She's really good with emails. Like I usually get a reply within 24 hours unless she's super busy with something else. But she'll definitely get back to y'all, and I would suggest y'all definitely contact her.
And also, please fill out that form. Make sure you fill out the form so that we can answer the questions that we did not get to answer right now. So please go and do
the form that's on our page. And all the questions that they were answering, those are the questions that were coming in live during their Hangout. So they were just coming in and they were able to answer them as they did. So just a few other kind of random tips, some things that we've learned along the way. Technology is a very big thing. Usually we're in our studio, we have someone else who's here who's sort of running it. You know, you just have, I wouldn't be going back and forth like this. I would just be up here, you know, presenting kind of like they're there doing their thing. Now, you don't have to have a big studio at your school in order to do this, though. What you will want to do is tests. You'll want to run a few tests beforehand. You'll be able to see then, you know, that yes, I'm totally washed out. They can't see me at all, or my microphone's not working properly. It sounds like I'm talking through a tin can. You'll be able to see those things and fix them. Perhaps you just notice small things like your camera is shooting up your nose and it's not straight on. So, you know, doing tests, make sure that your technology is working okay, even if it's not the best, the top of the line, that they're able to see you and hear you how they should be. Also, I'm sure most of you are already very conscious about this, but time scheduling, if you're doing it overseas, make sure that it's at a time that they can attend. That's a big thing. That way you actually have the attendance there. And really those are just some of the small things that we've learned along the way. Now, how did the Mississippi State University Fair, the Hangout Fair? There was over 280 RSVPs, yes, 47 maybes, and it had over 80 warm inquiries that came out of it, so it did fairly well. And it's still, of course, like I said, it's still gaining traction. It's still, we have it up on our site, we have it up on YouTube, so it's still getting a lot of traction. Hopefully a lot more warm inquiries to come. Does anyone have any questions? That's really all I have for this today. Yes. You can take it down. Yep, you can take it right down. Well, I mean, you can, in that case, what I would recommend doing is you can export the video and then you can edit it. So if you can do it in a way that makes it seem seamless, then that might be a good idea, but I don't think you really want, you don't want to make it awkward. You've seen bad edits. You don't want to be having your hands like this and then automatically like this or something like that. But it is, yeah, it's possible. Mm-hmm. So you can actually, that's sort of the thing. It does give you a number of individuals who are attending it. What we have noticed, though, is they're not always accurate. So, like, it'll tell you during the Hangout that you had XYZ amount of students who actually watched. But then later on, it's like, okay, we had all of these students who came to our site from this. That's way more than what they said actually attended. So they do have the feature in the Hangout. So the person who's moderating it, they're able to see it. It'll show you however many viewers in there. I wouldn't take it as an in-stone number because I don't think it's very accurate. And it'll bounce around as, individuals come in and out. But like I said, it's not, what we've seen is not 100%. Yeah, yep, kind of. So it's, you have your Hangout, just as you guys, I pulled up the Hangout, you watched the video on it. So that's the Hangout. All of the questions are just sort of in a column on the right-hand side, any questions that come in. And they're just stacked, one on top of the other. So whenever you pull up that Hangout later on, you'll be able to see all those questions as well. Right. Yep, they're all on there. You can delete them. Yep. Yeah, we'll have students, sometimes they just come on and they don't really get what Q&A is. So they might just say, hi there, or I want a scholarship, and it's nothing to do with tips on getting your F1 visa approved. So yeah, I mean, just for the sake of everyone else who's watching and everyone else who will watch, you can delete those. No, we actually don't have any problems with it. And actually now, I believe you can watch it. You don't quote me on this. I believe it just changed, though. You don't actually have to have an account in order to watch it. You can also stream it from your Facebook page. If you'd prefer that, you can always do that as well, if that's sort of a challenge. Yep. Yeah, we have not done it yet before. We have not actually put it on Facebook and streamed it through there, but I know you are able to. So if you feel like that might be a hurdle for some of your students and they're more comfortable with Facebook, they don't, have Google Plus account, then that's always a possibility. Just keep in mind you won't be able to use those individuals, later on. So you won't be able to see, okay, this student attended this Hangout through Google Plus, so I want to add them to this circle. That way I can later have contact with them. So that's kind of one of the downsides of that. So as much as you can push them to Google Plus, keep them on there, and be able to utilize all of the tools that Google has made for us, the better. Individuals who attend? It does. It will show you a few of the top individuals. A lot of times the way that we track it is through Google Analytics. I know, yeah, I mean, we mostly track it through Google Analytics to see who attended. I know there are, I believe it shows you the top few. Yeah, I'm not 100% on that. I'm sure there is a feature, though. I can get back with you. I can definitely look into that and get back with you if you'd like. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. So it depends on your situation. You're going to want to make sure that you have really great internet, really great Wi-Fi. Um, if you have poor quality Wi-Fi, then it's going to cut in and out. Another thing is I would recommend getting a remote camera. Don't just use your one that's built in. Like with this camera, you have the option to take off the autofocus. So whenever the autofocus is on, whenever I'm moving, it's going to blur and then it's going to focus whenever I move. So if you have an event going on and you have a lot of people walking by, it's going to just be constantly blurry. If you were to have a different camera like this, take off that autofocus, it'd be fine, no problem. You won't have the constant blur. So it's definitely a possibility. Yeah, it'd definitely be a possibility. And then, I don't know, you might want to have, if it's like a musical event or something, you might want to have a few key microphones set up strategically. That way they can actually hear the sound. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Our tech guy bought this for us. I'm not quite sure. I know it's not top of the line, it's not bottom of the line. Once again, if I can get your card, I'll send you a few recommendations. I know he would love to do that. He's great. He's one who's helping us drive it. Emil I'm sure he'll be happy to give you a good suggestion. So in our studio, it's a big boom mic. Yeah, sometimes we do use these little guys. Surprisingly, sometimes these can give better sound than the big mic. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I mean, really what we do, so we have, as long as you've done a test run and you know what you need, it's really, the pieces can kind of fall into place there. So what we do for our school, so Mississippi State University, we sent them out a computer. We gave them instructions on, what they need to plug in where, and then whenever we're actually going to do the Hangout, how it's going to happen. We send them a camera like this. We send them a microphone. The first time it was kind of a learning process. They had two individuals who were hosting the Hangout. We sent them one headset that looked like earmuffs with a mic. So, I mean, it's great. It was a great system, but you have two individuals. So when the first person's talking and then the other person to talk, they had to take it off, pass it over, and then once that person was done, they had to take it off, pass it over. So it wasn't as seamless. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a learn and go process. And you could always, if you have individuals who you want to be presenting remotely, like I'm doing today, you can always send them what they need if you're worried about what kind of quality things they would have. No, yeah, I mean, it can be as high tech or as low tech as you want it to be. I would say, the big thing, make sure that they can see you, make sure that they can hear you. You don't have to have a big fancy green screen like we have with you guys missed the beginning part, but you don't have to have all the bells and whistles. At the end of the day, it's a resource for your students, and it's a resource that they're going to actually watch and engage in. So make sure that they can get the information, and I think that's really what matters most. So remember that it's something that will live on, so keep that in mind too. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. We do Google Analytics. Google Analytics is what we use. I don't know, UTM tracking codes. I don't know if you're familiar with those at all, but we have, it's all through Google Analytics. That's how we keep track of that. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Now we might, take that video and maybe send out an email to a group of students later on who we might think would be interested in it. So we might see another mini peak, but really during and right after is when we see most of the activity. Is there a question over here? Yeah, yep. So, yeah, we have the two different types of Hangouts. The ones with the schools are primarily the recruiting ones. And then I do a lot of them that are purely resource-based. So how to choose the right major for you, tips on getting your F1 visa approved. Like I said, think of some of the most common questions that you might have. It's going to depend on your situation. I mean, so we have, what tab is it under? There we go. Okay, so I mean, these are all pretty much informative. I mean, students could potentially become a lead from them, but really, at the end of the day, it's to get them the information there. Internationalstudent.com, yeah, we do have leads that go through, but it's a resource for students. That makes them, it's why they want to come to International Student. So we do have a lot of these videos. Yeah, I mean, really, it's what I would say, try to think of some of the top questions your students have. Maybe ask some of them, what kind of activity would you engage in a Hangout? Does anyone else have any ideas to answer that question? Any ways that he might be able to engage it on his campus to use it? Great idea. Really great. At any time. Her question was, how far in advance do they need to join to be a part of it? I mean, they could RSVP yes that they're going, as soon as it's created. They'll get that email reminder. Or they could jump in the day of. They might see that we've posted on Facebook, hey, don't forget to attend this Hangout. Decide to join, a minute before or 5 minutes into it, and it's fine. They can still attend. It's not going to not let them watch. Yeah. Which are you doing, an on-air, or are you doing, so there's two different types of Hangouts you can do. Are you doing the on-air type or the other one, just the Hangout video? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yep, it will. But it's also, it will depend on which type of Hangout. It should depend. Yeah. And we can talk after if you'd like. We can see which one you guys are using. So this one you can talk to a wider audience. The other one, it's more limited, but you can, if it'd be sort of replacing maybe, yeah, more of Skype. If you want to have a small meeting with people who are all over, you can see everyone. So it's for smaller individuals. The non-on-airs for smaller ones. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't believe so. Yeah. Now, something to keep in mind too is if you're having international students from everywhere attending this, you're going to want to make sure that it's the on-air hangout, because you don't want every international student who attends to be a presenter and be able to just start talking. So you'll want to make sure it is the on-air hangout. And you'll have, whenever you create it, you'll have that option. So you have Hangouts on air, video hangout. Make sure you create it on air. Any other questions? Yeah, I mean, I would say there's a few big things you'll want to keep in mind. Before you just try to have a hangout, make sure it's a topic that students are very engaged in, that they want to know the answer to. You want to make sure that you market it. You can have a hangout on air all day long, and if nobody attends, then really it's not going to do you any good unless it gets a lot of traction later on. So make sure that you promote it, you market it, you know, tell people on Facebook, Twitter, however else you guys get the word out. Make sure that you do that. That's very important. And then use those post-marketing tools also. You've put in all the work to create the on-air hangout. Don't let it just end there. It's still a really good resource. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. I think it's so flexible, and I mean, I think essentially you can use this for whatever way you want it to be used. I mean, it might take a few tweaks. It might be a learning process, you know, such as finding a camera where you can turn off the autofocus if you're having it at an event. You know, that's something that you might want to consider. I would definitely give them a disclaimer, though, that if they're going to be the ones on camera during their office hours, I would let them know, you know, that it's a broadcast, they'll be on it. You're saying to show them as the video? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, most definitely. Then you might be interested in the video hangouts, not necessarily the on-air, the hangouts on air. The video hangouts will allow you to kind of have more of like a Skype going on. Yeah, that's definitely, that might be a good option for you. Well, you can only have one individual driving the presentation, but so like I was invited as a presenter to this hangout today. So I'm not actually driving, you know, the hangout. That's our tech guys back in Florida. but I was invited as a presenter, so anyone who's watching this Hangout, they're able to hear me. And they can see me because the camera, it's on me as the presenter. But you would not, if you had a large group of students that you're doing this Hangout on air with, you wouldn't be able to just automatically change to every single attendee and have them be a presenter. They just have the Q&A feature. Right, yeah. Right, yeah. Just not, you know, all 200 or however many you have attending. You wouldn't want that anyways. It'd be a big jumble. All right, any last questions? If anyone has any questions afterwards, you can feel free to come up. Those who I know had some pending inquiries that I wasn't able to answer, feel free to come up and I will look into that for you. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for attending. I hope it gave you just a little bit more info on Google Plus and Hangouts.